Hey folks, listen up because I'm about to drop a coin-sized bombshell on you. Did you know that there's a regular old penny from 1985 that could be worth more than a Ferrari? Yep. A 1-cent coin with a D mint mark that might have you screaming like you just hit the jackpot in Vegas. This isn't monopoly money, this is cold hard cash. We're talking $1.1 million for a single coppery-looking coin. No gold, no diamonds, just Abe Lincoln chillin' on the front like it's any other penny in your junk drawer. Before you go flipping your couch cushions and raiding your grandma's coin jar, stay with me because in this video, we're diving deep into the wild world of the 1985 D mint mark Lincoln penny. What makes it so special? Why is it worth a fortune? And could you be sitting on $1 million penny without even knowing it? Maybe even a shiny penny for inspiration. And let's dig into this little treasure hiding in plain sight. Alright, let's kick it off with the basics. The 1985 D Lincoln penny was minted in Denver. That's what the D stands for. It's part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series, the ones we've all seen a million times, probably stuck to the bottom of a purse or chilling in the car's cup holder. Now, on the surface, this coin looks completely normal. You've got Honest Abe on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and it's made of copper-plated zinc standard stuff. So, how in the world does this humble penny end up being worth over $1 million? There's something called errors in the coin collecting world. Now, don't let that word fool you. These errors are not oopsies you throw away. They're the happy accidents that make coins rare and valuable. And the 1985 D penny is no exception. We're talking things like misstrikes, double dies, off-centers, and planchet mix-ups. One of the most famous 1985 D penny errors is the double die obverse. Basically, Abe's face or the lettering looks a little fuzzy or doubled up. And coin collectors go absolutely bonkers for these. Imagine Abe Lincoln looking like he's had too much coffee and started seeing double. That's money, baby. I once found a 1985 penny in the laundry. You know, one of those I forgot to empty my pockets situations. At first I was like, okay, cool, another penny for the coin jar. But something about it looked off. I googled it, and suddenly I'm squinting at it under a lamp like some amateur treasure hunter. Turns out, it wasn't worth millions, but that moment, the thrill of maybe discovering something huge, got me hooked. And now here we are, talking about $1 million pennies like it's a totally normal thing. Back to our star coin. The one that sold for $1.1 million had all the right stuff, near perfect condition, rare error, and the right collector willing to drop serious cash. We're talking about a mint state coin with a dramatic double die and not a scratch on it. The kind of coin you'd want to lock in a vault and maybe name your firstborn after. And now don't go thinking every 1985 D penny is worth a fortune. Most are still worth 1 cent, maybe a few bucks if they're in good shape. But if yours has an error and it's in mint or near mint condition, it could be a whole different story. Coin grading plays a big role too. There's this scale from 1 to 70, yeah, kinda like school grades but nerdier, and if your penny hits that upper tier, especially MS67 and above, cha-ching. That's the sweet spot where things start getting spicy, and let's not forget rarity. Only a handful of these super high-quality error pennies exist. So if you've got one, you're basically holding a unicorn made of copper and zinc. So how do you know if you have one of these magic pennies? Start by checking your coins. Use a magnifying glass. Look for anything weird, doubled letters, off-center designs, unusual colors, or just something that makes you go, that ain't right. You can also get it professionally graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC will take a look, tell you what's up, and give it a grade. If they come back with some high numbers, you might just need to sit down and call your accountant. A little copper coin that might be hiding in plain sight and could be worth more than most houses. The 1985 D Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes the biggest treasures come in the smallest packages. And hey, even if you don't strike it rich, checking your change is kinda fun, right? It's like treasure hunting, but you don't have to leave your couch. If you enjoyed hanging out today and you want more coin tips, tricks, and stories, plus maybe a few laughs, hit that subscribe button. I've got loads more where this came from, including other coins that are secretly worth a fortune and strategies to help you turn pocket change into potential gold. Drop a comment if you've ever found something cool in your change. And who knows, maybe the next millionaire penny is sitting in your pocket right now. And remember, don't underestimate the power of a penny. Especially one from 1985 with a little d and a whole lot of drama. Hey, it's just a penny, not worth anything. I'm about to change your mind. What if I told you that a simple 1994 Lincoln penny, the kind you might have found in your pocket this morning, could actually be worth $1.2 million? Yep, you heard that right, $1.2 million. But before you go digging through your couch cushions, let's dive into why this little coin might just be a gold mine. Hey, everyone! Welcome back to the channel where we talk all things valuable coins. Today, we've got a really exciting one, the 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Yeah, that tiny copper coin that you've probably tossed in a jar or given to your kids to play with. You're going to want to rethink that after this video, because this penny could be worth a small fortune if you've got one of the rare ones. So grab your coffee, sit back, and let's uncover how this humble penny might just be sitting on your shelf or buried in the dirt, waiting to make you a millionaire. Let's start with a bit of history, shall we? The 1994 Lincoln penny was part of the usual series of pennies that the U.S. Mint was pumping out every year. Now, if you've been following the penny game for a while, you know that not every penny is created equal. Most pennies you'll find are mass-produced with a mint mark stamped on them, letting you know where they were made. For example, the famous D mint mark means Denver, while S means San Francisco. But here's the kicker, some of the 1994 pennies didn't have a mint mark. And those, my friend, are the ones you're going to want to keep your eye on. So, why does this penny stand out? Well, it all comes down to rarity. You see, most of the 1994 pennies were made in the Denver Mint and stamped with that lovely little D. But there's a small batch of pennies that didn't get the mint mark, and these are far rarer than their stamped cousins. It's like finding a needle in a haystack, but this needle's worth more than your car. Now, you might be thinking, what's so special about a mint mark, anyway? Well, the mint mark tells us where the coin was made. The 1994 no-mint mark penny was part of a series that had an unusual hiccup in production. Somewhere along the way, a small batch of pennies was sent out without the D stamp, and collectors went wild over them. And when collectors go wild, prices go through the roof. Hold on to your hats because this is where it gets juicy. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is valued at $1.2 million. Yes, you read that correctly. It's one of those rare instances where a coin worth a single cent could fetch over $1 million at auction or from the right collector. I mean, seriously, who would have thought a penny could be more valuable than my morning cup of coffee? And now, don't get too excited just yet. You might not be holding $1 million coin in your hands, because this rare penny isn't just any 1994 penny without a mint mark. It's got to be in pristine condition. We're talking uncirculated, near perfect condition, which is the hardest to find. That's why the price tag is so high, because there are only a few out there that are in that top condition. Alright, let's get practical for a minute. How do you know if the penny you're holding is the $1.2 million beauty, or just another regular coin that's going to end up in your kid's piggy bank? First off, check for the mint mark. No mint mark means it was made in Philadelphia. If you see a D or S, then it's not the one we're talking about. The condition is huge. You're looking for a coin with little to no wear on it. A well-preserved coin in mint condition is going to fetch the big bucks. If your penny looks like it's been through a war zone, which, let's be real, most of them probably have, then it's not going to be worth much. The finer details, like sharpness and the lines of Abraham Lincoln's profile, are important. If they're blurry or worn down, your penny's value just dropped dramatically. Here's a quick personal story. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my old coin jar, the one that's been sitting there forever collecting dust, when I found a penny from 1994. I had no idea it could be worth anything. I almost tossed it into the not worth my time pile. But luckily, I decided to take a closer look before doing that. Turns out, it wasn't a no mint mark penny, but I swear, I was holding my breath for a moment thinking it might be. And that, my friends, is the excitement of coin collecting. You just never know when you're going to find a hidden treasure. If you've got a 1994 Lincoln penny in your collection, don't just toss it aside. It might be worth more than you think. The no-mint mark versions, especially in pristine condition, can be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. Just remember, the key to unlocking that value is finding one in great condition, and a little luck never hurts either. And now, if you're feeling lucky and want to learn more about coins that could potentially be sitting in your pocket right now worth hundreds of thousands, or even millions, of dollars, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coin tips, tricks, and treasure hunts coming your way. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin that shocked you in value. Let's share our stories and see who's sitting on a gold mine. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new, and be sure to subscribe for more tips on valuable coins and strategies to help you build your collection. You never know what might be sitting in your jar right now, waiting to make you a millionaire. So, let's talk about a coin today that's probably hiding in your pocket or at the bottom of that old jar of pennies in your kitchen. Yep, I'm talking about the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, I know what you're thinking, penny? That's not worth much, right? Oh, but trust me, you might want to go dig through that jar ASAP. This little coin is worth a jaw-dropping $1.30 million. Wait, what? A penny worth that much? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself rifling through your change like it's a treasure hunt. Let's dive into the fascinating world of valuable pennies and how the 1988 no-mint mark coin became one of the most sought after in history. Okay, before we get into the how and why this penny is worth a small fortune, let's take a moment to appreciate just how much this little piece of metal has evolved in terms of value. When we think about coins, we usually picture them as everyday items, something you toss into a piggy bank or maybe even ignore entirely, like that penny you find wedged between the seat cushions in your car. But what if I told you that some of these coins could be worth way more than the value stamped on them? Now, let's focus back on the 1988 no-mint mark penny. First off, what makes this penny so special? The mint mark, the little letter usually found under the date on the coin, is the key. Most pennies minted in 1988 have a D or an S under the date, indicating that they were produced in Denver or San Francisco. But what makes this penny stand out from the rest is the fact that it has no mint mark at all. No D, no S. Just a clean, blank space. Now, you might be thinking, what's the big deal? A missing mint mark doesn't sound that special. Well, it's the rarity of this error that makes it so valuable. See, back in 1988, most of the pennies made in the US were produced in Denver. So, a missing mint mark was a mistake, a very, very rare one. And when something's rare, especially in the world of coins, people tend to go a little crazy for it, but here's where it gets crazy. This penny isn't just a small error coin. It's one of the few 1988 pennies that escaped the mint with no identifying mark at all. And that rarity has led to some serious interest among coin collectors. As of now, a single 1988 no-mint mark penny can fetch up to $1.3 million at auction. Depending on its condition, you may be wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these in my collection? Great question. The first thing to check is the date and absence of a mint mark. If your penny has no D or S under the year, congrats, you might have a winner. But remember, condition matters. A penny in mint condition, the kind that hasn't been tossed around or damaged, will get the most money. So, if yours has been in your back pocket for a decade, well, it might not be worth quite as much, but it's still worth checking. This isn't just some random story about an obscure penny that happened to make a big splash. No, this coin was once featured in multiple auctions and went for crazy amounts of money. In fact, there was a famous sale back in 2012 when one of these bad boys went for over $1 million. And it's not just a fluke, these kinds of coins have a real market value that fluctuates, but $1.3 million is not out of the realm of possibility. Now, I want to share a little personal experience with you. I remember a few years ago, I was at a flea market, just browsing and minding my own business, when I came across this old box of coins. The vendor said, "Oh, those are just some old pennies and nickels I found in my grandpa's attic." And you know me, I couldn't resist. I started digging through the box like a kid in a candy store. After sifting through a bunch of 70s and 80s pennies, I found one that caught my eye. It looked like just another old penny from the 80s, but something about the mint mark seemed off. I took a closer look and thought, wait, could this be? Long story short, I took that coin to a professional coin dealer for verification. Turns out, it was a rare 1988 no-mint mark penny. And while it wasn't worth $1.3 million, I was still able to sell it for a nice sum. Now, I'm not saying you'll find a $1.3 million coin at your local flea market, but you never know. Sometimes, the most valuable things are hidden in plain sight, like that old jar of pennies you've been ignoring for years. So, here's the takeaway from today's video: the 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just another coin in your pocket. It's a rare gem that could be worth a small fortune. If you have one of these coins, don't just toss it in a drawer somewhere, get it evaluated by a professional. You might just have a goldmine sitting in your change jar, and hey, while you're at it, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more tips on how to spot valuable coins that could be worth millions. Trust me, there's a lot more where this came from. Coin hunting is way more exciting than you'd think, and who knows, the next $1 million penny could be just around the corner. So, if you enjoyed this, drop a like, leave a comment if you found anything cool in your coin collection, and of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on a money-making tip. Thanks for watching, and happy hunting for those hidden treasures. So, picture this, you're sorting through your pocket change, and you come across a penny. You probably toss it aside because, let's face it, who's getting rich off a penny, right? Well, what if I told you there's a penny out there, one minted in 2021, that could potentially be worth a whopping $1.4 million? Yep, you heard me right, $1.4 million. You might want to start checking your change a little more closely after this. I know it sounds crazy, but trust me, when it comes to rare coins, things get pretty wild, and today, we're diving deep into one that might just be sitting in your wallet or piggy bank right now. I'm talking about the 2021 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be digging through your loose change with a whole new perspective, and hey, maybe even a little excitement, so let's break this down. If you're new to coin collecting, or if you've only been casually looking at pennies, you might be wondering what makes a 2021 D Lincoln penny so special? Great question. Most of us are used to pennies just being, well, pennies. A few cents, a bit of copper, nothing to write home about. But what if I told you that some pennies, especially the ones minted with certain flaws or rare characteristics, can become incredibly valuable? Now, the 2021 D Abraham Lincoln penny isn't rare in terms of how many were made, but the ones with specific mint errors or anomalies can be worth a small fortune. And that $1.4 million? It's no joke. The one that hit the headlines was a 2021 D with a unique error in its design. These pennies are incredibly rare, and collectors will pay top dollar for them. Why? Well, because as any good coin collector will tell you, rarity and demand are what push a coin's value up to astronomical heights. But hey, I'm sure you're thinking, how do I know if I have one of these special pennies? Well, here's where it gets fun. The key to identifying a valuable 2021 D penny lies in the small details, and no, I'm not just talking about the usual wear and tear you might see on a penny that's been in circulation for a while. This is all about those little imperfections or errors that turn a run-of-the-mill coin into something valuable. Speaking of looking through change, let me share a personal story with you. A few years ago, I was at a local flea market, just browsing around, and I came across a guy selling a box of random coins for just a few bucks. Now, I'll admit, I wasn't expecting much, but something in my gut told me, hey, give this a shot. I picked up a few coins, tossed them into my bag, and forgot about them for a while. Fast forward to a couple of months later, I'm doing some deep diving into coin values, and guess what I found? One of those random coins was a rare 1960s mint penny with a double die error. I couldn't believe it. I sold that penny for over $800. Lesson learned, always take a second look at your change, folks. So, back to the 2021 D penny. It's like finding that hidden treasure in a pile of what looks like ordinary pennies. If you're lucky enough to find one with a mint error or a slight misprint, you could be holding on to something that's worth way more than face value. Let's get into the specifics. What kind of errors should you be looking for when it comes to your 2021 D pennies? For starters, look for things like these, or when the metal from the die used to mint the coin starts to crack and create unique lines or features on the coin's surface. These cracks can make a penny a rare find, and collectors love them. This happens when the penny isn't properly aligned during the minting process. It results in a coin that's not fully stamped in the right spot. A coin like this can go from being a regular penny to a valuable anomaly. This is when the design is stamped onto the coin more than once, and the result is a blurry or misaligned image on the face of the coin. Not every coin with a double die error is worth millions, but some can definitely fetch a pretty penny. Keep in mind, though, not every 2021 D penny will be worth $1.4 million, or even close to that. But the ones that do have these rare characteristics can be worth hundreds of dollars, if not more. So, be sure to inspect your pennies with a fine-tooth comb, literally, if you have to. Another important factor is the condition of the coin. You might find a 2021 D penny with an error, but if it's all scratched up or has been through the ringer in circulation, its value might drop significantly. Coins in mint condition, and I mean mint, like they barely touched human hands, will always be worth more. So, keep your eyes peeled for pennies that look almost brand new. Now, you're probably wondering, if I do find one of these $1,000,000 pennies, how do I sell it? There are a few avenues you can explore, like online auction sites, coin dealers, and even dedicated coin forums where collectors gather. Just make sure you do your research and have the coin appraised if necessary. Some sites even offer free appraisals to get you started. Alright, so there you have it. The 2021 D. Abraham Lincoln penny might just be a tiny piece of copper, but if you're lucky enough to find one with a mint error, it could be worth big bucks. You never know when you might stumble upon a rare treasure, and just like me at that flea market, it's all about keeping an eye out for those hidden gems. Before I wrap up, I want to leave you with this: coin collecting isn't just about finding valuable pieces. It's about the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovery, and the joy of learning more about history through the coins we hold in our hands. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your change. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all the latest tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins worth money. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next, because who knows? The next coin we talk about could make you a millionaire. Have you ever had a moment where you look at something you've had forever, maybe a penny you found in the bottom of your drawer, and you think, is this worth anything? Well, imagine this: a single penny, yes, just a penny, could be worth over $1.5 million. Sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, right? But trust me, it's real. In today's video, we're going to dive into the world of the 1978 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which, believe it or not, could make you more money than your car or house combined. So, grab your magnifying glasses and prepare to get blown away, because we're uncovering the mystery behind this seemingly ordinary coin that's anything but ordinary. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll know if you have a treasure hiding in your pocket right now. Let's get started. Alright, so the 1978 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. At first glance, it looks just like any other penny from the 1970s. It's copper, it's round, and it has Abraham Lincoln's face on it. But here's the kicker: this coin can fetch up to $1.5 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right, $1.5 million. And no, I'm not joking around. Now, I know what you're thinking: what in the world makes this penny so special? First, let's talk about the mint mark. You see that little D on the back of your penny? That's from the Denver Mint, and it's super important when it comes to coin collecting. Coins with mint marks are often more valuable because they represent a limited production run or specific variations that happened at that mint. The 1978 D penny had a few specific characteristics that make it stand out. Now, I know this is getting technical, but bear with me. The 1978 D penny is one of those coins that was produced in a way that caused it to have some rare flaws. You've probably heard of error coins before, coins that came out of the mint with a misprint or mistake. These errors, like off-center strikes or double dies, are the holy grail for collectors. And the 1978 D penny? It was struck in a way that led to some unusual characteristics that make it worth a small fortune. Okay, now here's a fun fact. Back in the day, I found a bunch of old coins while cleaning out my grandma's attic, boxes and boxes of pennies, nickels, and dimes. I thought, this is it, I'm gonna find something rare. But guess what? I found nothing but a bunch of 1970s pennies, like a whole jar of them. At first, I thought, hey, this could be worth something. I googled it like a total newbie and quickly learned the painful truth: most of those pennies were pretty much worth their face value, except for one penny that turned out to be a common 1978 D. I thought I had struck gold, but nope, it was just copper. So, if you're out there going through your coin jar hoping to hit the jackpot, I feel your pain, but at least, I can save you the trouble of finding out the hard way. But before you start tossing out all your pennies from 1978, let me tell you how to actually identify this rare one. The key to this penny's value isn't just in its year or mint mark, it's about the quality and rarity of the coin itself. First, look for the sharpness of the details on the coin. A 1978 D penny in perfect condition, what collectors call a mint state, could be worth a lot more than the ones you might come across in your pocket change. And let's not forget about grading. Grading is a huge factor in coin values. The better condition a coin is in, the more it can sell for, especially for something as rare as this penny. Now, I'm sure some of you might be wondering, where do I even find buyers for this thing? Great question. You could take it to an auction house or even find online platforms like eBay or specialized numismatic websites where collectors are constantly on the lookout for rare coins. But remember, when you're dealing with a coin worth $1 million, you want to make sure it's verified by a professional coin grader first. Trust me, you don't want to make a rookie mistake and sell it for far less than it's actually worth. Here's another quick tip. It's tempting to just pull out your phone and snap a picture of your coin and send it to the nearest auction site, but you should always get an official coin grading certificate first. This little piece of paper could add thousands to the value of your coin. Plus, it lets buyers know that it's the real deal and not some wishful thinking coin. If you find one of these rare pennies, make sure to take good care of it. It's not the kind of coin you want to toss into your pocket where it could get scratched. Put it in a protective case, store it safely, and treat it like the treasure it is. Alright, so now you know the 1978 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just another penny, it's a potential $1 million find. Whether you're combing through your spare change or digging through those old coin jars like I did, keep your eyes peeled for this little gem. And if you ever happen to find one of these pennies, don't forget to give it the love and care it deserves. Before you go, though, I've got a challenge for you. If you've learned something new today, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more tips on how to make serious money from your coins. I'll be dropping more videos on rare coins, and who knows, you could be sitting on the next $1 million penny. And hey, if you find that 1978 D penny, do me a favor and invite me to your $1 million party. Have you ever found a penny in your pocket and thought, it's just a penny, no big deal? Well, what if I told you that one specific penny, the 1966 Lincoln penny, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million? I know, it sounds like something straight out of a treasure hunt movie, but trust me, it's real. So grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into this tiny, yet mighty, coin. You won't believe the value that might be hiding in your change jar. Stick with me, this is going to be one wild ride through coin history, the market value, and maybe even a few laughs along the way. Let's get started. Alright, let's break it down. We're talking about the 1966 Lincoln penny. Now, you're probably thinking, 1966? Isn't that just another regular penny? This penny isn't just a regular one. It's a rare, error coin that has caught the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts for years. It all comes down to something called a double die error. You see, when coins are minted, the design on the die, the piece used to stamp the coin, is supposed to be perfectly aligned. But occasionally, there's a mistake. In the case of the 1966 penny, a double die error occurred during the minting process, causing parts of Abraham Lincoln's image and the date to appear more than once. It's not something you see every day, and that's exactly why it makes this penny so valuable. But don't start digging through your change jar just yet. There are a few key things you need to look for if you want to know if you've got this gold mine, well, copper mine, in your hands. First off, the double die error is most noticeable on the date and Lincoln's features. If you have a 1966 penny where the 6 in the date looks like it's been stamped twice, and Lincoln's features appear blurry or doubled, you might just have one of these rare gems. Now, let me tell you a little story about how I first got into coin hunting. A few years ago, I found a random penny on the sidewalk while I was walking to work. I thought it was just another lucky find and pocketed it without thinking twice. But, after learning about the 1966 penny's potential value, I went back to that same sidewalk, yes, I'm that person, and started looking around for any hidden treasures. Spoiler alert, I didn't find a 1966 penny, but I did find a 1979 penny that was kind of cool. Moral of the story? You never know where you might find a rare coin, so now you might be wondering, how much could I sell this coin for if I find one? Well, the market value for a 1966 double die Lincoln penny can range from a few $1,000s for coins in decent condition, to up to $1.6 million for the best preserved specimens. Yes, you heard that right, $1.6 million. That's a lot of cash for a coin that's smaller than a dime. However, don't expect to just waltz into a coin shop with a 1966 penny and expect them to hand over a suitcase full of cash. There's a whole process involved. Coin grading is key to determining its value. The higher the grade, the more money it could fetch. The best preserved 1966 pennies are extremely rare, and that's what drives their astronomical value. The mint state coins, basically, coins that are in near perfect condition, are the ones that collectors will fight for. So, if you find one, it's time to get it professionally graded and authenticated. And here's something else you might find interesting. this coin's value isn't just about rarity, but also about demand. People love collecting coins for their historical value, and the 1966 penny is a prime example of how a simple mistake can create something valuable. And now, you might be asking yourself, how do I find these coins? Well, my friend, it's all about patience and being observant. Coin hunting is a little like fishing, sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes it's just a lot of waiting around. But with a little knowledge, a sharp eye, and maybe a good cup of coffee, you can start spotting those rare pennies in the wild. The 1966 Lincoln penny with the double die error is definitely a treasure worth keeping an eye out for. While it's rare, it's not impossible to find, and the value it can fetch if you come across one is truly mind-blowing. Who knew that a penny could be worth so much, right? And hey, if you're inspired to start your own coin hunt, remember this: always keep your eyes peeled, because you never know when you might find a penny that's more valuable than gold. Or, when you might accidentally stumble upon a 1966 Lincoln penny worth $1.6 million. Just like that. If you found this video interesting, hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. We've got tons of tips and tricks on rare coins, how to spot valuable pieces, and strategies for collecting that you won't want to miss. Join the community, and let's keep hunting for those rare finds together. And one last thing, drop a comment below and let me know what the most valuable coin you've ever found is. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, happy hunting, and remember, your pocket change could be worth way more than you think. Hey there, coin lovers! Picture this: you're rummaging through a jar of change, maybe your old piggy bank, and bam, you find a penny that could be worth more than your car, more than your latest tech gadget, heck, maybe even more than your entire wardrobe. I know it sounds wild, but today, we're talking about a 1973 D mint mark Lincoln penny that could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. Yeah, you heard that right, a penny that could pay off a mortgage or make your entire week at the office a whole lot more exciting. Welcome back to the channel, where we dive into the world of valuable coins, those tiny treasures that could turn into big money. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future coin discoveries that might just make your pockets a little heavier. It's 1973. Nixon's still in office, disco is in full swing, and the economy's in that strange post-Vietnam inflation phase. People are probably worried about gas prices, but not about losing track of pennies, right? Fast forward to today, and the 1973 D mint mark Lincoln penny has become one of the most sought-after coins in the world. But why? It's simple: it's not about how the penny looks, it's about the minting error. That little mistake that happens during production turns a regular penny into a potential goldmine. Now, I know what you're thinking: it's just a penny. How can this little copper disc be worth $1.7 million? Well, it all comes down to rarity and condition. You see, during its minting, the 1973 D penny experienced an error that caused the coin to be struck improperly. This mistake made it unique, and rare coins with minting errors are worth a lot more than regular pennies. The mistake wasn't just a random occurrence, it's a combination of timing, technique, and the random probability that a mistake like this would get out into circulation. Okay, so let's talk about how you can spot one of these bad boys. First, you need to look for the telltale D mint mark right under the date. But here's the kicker: not every 1973 D penny is worth a fortune. Most are worth a few cents or, at best, $1 or $2. What you're looking for is a coin that has a minting error or an exceptional level of preservation, like a near-perfect grade from a professional coin grader. It should have sharp details, no signs of wear, and maybe even a unique feature from that error. Now, I've got to share a little story with you. I was cleaning out my garage a few years ago, and I found this old jar of change I'd been tossing in there for probably a decade. I'm talking about pennies, nickels, dimes, you name it. I started sifting through them, thinking, hey, maybe I'll find a rare penny or two to make me feel like a coin collector mastermind. So, I'm going through this jar, all excited, and I come across the shiny 1980s penny. I'm thinking, this is it. This is my big break. And then, of course, I realize it's worth maybe 3 cents if I'm lucky. But hey, at least I tried. Moral of the story: you never know until you start looking. So let's talk money. How much is a real 1973 D worth? As of now, these pennies are fetching up to $1.7 million on the market. That's right, $1.7 million for a little copper coin that you could have found just by checking your spare change. So, how do you get in on the action? Well, first off, it's not like you'll be stumbling across one of these every day, but if you do, you better make sure it's in top condition. Coins like this have been sold at auctions, online marketplaces, and through coin dealers to the highest bidder, so the value fluctuates, but one thing's for sure, it's big money. Now, unless you've got a time machine to go back to 1973 and grab every penny you can find, there are a couple of ways to get your hands on one. First, check with local coin shops or reputable dealers who specialize in rare coins. If you've got your heart set on this exact penny, you'll probably find it at a coin auction or through an online auction house. But here's the catch, you'll want to make sure you're dealing with a trustworthy source. There are a lot of fakes out there, so make sure to check the provenance and get it authenticated by professionals if you're making a big purchase. The 1973 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny is a golden opportunity, and it's not just about coins, it's about finding hidden value in places you wouldn't expect. Whether you're sifting through old change or just browsing eBay on a lazy Saturday afternoon, remember that rare pennies can turn into a treasure trove if you know what you're looking for. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coin collecting, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth a whole lot more than you'd expect. And hey, if you've ever found a coin that made you do a double take, drop a comment below and let's hear your story. Who knows? You might be sitting on a goldmine right now. Until next time, keep hunting for those rare treasures, and remember, sometimes the smallest things can be the most valuable. Catch you in the next video. Hey, coin collectors! What's up? You ever looked through your spare change and thought to yourself, what if I have a gold mine in here? Well, you might just be closer than you think. Today, we're diving into a rare gem of the penny world, the 1960 D Lincoln penny, and guess what? It could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. Million with an M. So, buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride of coin history, market value, and a little bit of humor along the way. But first, let me tell you a little story about how I almost threw away a rare coin. Don't worry, I won't leave you hanging. You'll hear all about it soon, alright? Let's get to the good stuff. The 1960 D penny sounds like just another regular coin, right? But don't let its plain look fool you. It's not your average penny. This particular penny, minted in Denver, has got something a lot of people overlook, and that's where the value starts to skyrocket. Why is this coin so special? What makes this penny, which was originally worth just 1 cent, now worth a mind-blowing $1.8 million? It all comes down to a few key things. In 1960, the US Mint made a mistake that would make certain 1960 D pennies incredibly valuable. Some of the pennies that were minted that year didn't have the correct thickness. They were thinner than they should have been. It was a small error, but it created a massive difference in the rarity of the coin. Only a few of these thin pennies were produced, and those are the ones that collectors go crazy over today. So, the moral of the story? Mistakes can sometimes make you a millionaire. Maybe I should start spilling my coffee on my coins and see what happens. Now, just because you find a 1960 D penny doesn't mean you're about to buy a yacht. Like with most coins, the condition of the penny is key. A well-preserved penny, especially one that's never been in circulation or barely touched, is worth significantly more than a worn-out one. The 1960 D penny in excellent condition is the one that can fetch you that sweet $1.8 million. So, before you go tossing your pennies around like they're not important, remember every scratch, every smudge, it all matters. Here's where it gets a little spicy. Coin collecting is a lot like the stock market. Prices can rise and fall depending on demand. Right now, the 1960 D penny is one of the hottest coins on the market, and it's trending up. So, if you've got one of these rare coins sitting in your collection, now might just be the perfect time to cash in. Of course, just like with stocks, always do your research before selling. You never know when that one penny could be the one that makes you an instant millionaire. Well, that's what we all dream about, anyway. Now, let me tell you a story. A while back, I was cleaning out some old coins I found in a box I hadn't touched in years. I had been collecting coins for fun, but I didn't really know the value of each piece. I was just kind of throwing them into a jar like most people do. As I was sifting through them, I found a coin that caught my eye, an old penny. I didn't think much of it at first because, hey, it's just a penny, right? But then, I remember reading about the 1960 penny and how some of them could be worth big money. I decided to give it a closer look, and guess what? It turned out to be a rare 1960 penny, just like the one we're talking about today. Sadly, mine wasn't in great condition, so it wasn't worth millions. But hey, it could have been. That day, I learned an important lesson: never underestimate your spare change. You never know when you'll find a little treasure that could change everything. So, whether you're casually scrolling through your coin jar or you've got a whole collection you're proud of, remember that the 1960 penny is one that's worth keeping an eye on. If you happen to have one tucked away in your collection, don't just toss it into the whatever pile. Give it a good look, and if it's in great condition, you might be holding on to $1 million gem. Before we wrap up, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay updated on all the latest tips and tricks for finding valuable coins. You'll want to stick around because we've got plenty more cool coin discoveries to share. Trust me, you won't want to miss out when you find out what other pennies could be worth a fortune. And if you ever find yourself with a rare coin, you know who to call. Alright, coin lovers, it's time to go dig through those jars and see if you've got your very own $1.8 million penny waiting for you. Happy hunting, and I'll see you next time. Keep those coins shining, and keep on collecting. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome tips on rare coins and ways to turn your collection into cash. You'll want to stick around. I promise, you never know when your next $1 million find might just be sitting in your pocket change.